Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of StarCraft, where I take you through the missions and how to get the achievements. Today's mission is Harbinger of Oblivion in the Legacy of the Void campaign. And the achievements for this mission are Harbinger of Oblivion, complete the mission. Stormcaller, destroy 15 units with psionic storms. Hive 5, complete the mission before Kerrigan loses 3 or more than 3 hives on normal. This mission is pretty fun because it introduces the best, well, in my opinion, one of the best units of the Protoss. It's the Templar. The only problem with that is I absolutely suck with the Templar. Because the High Templar are basically the best macro unit out of the Protoss. They have 3 abilities. They have number 1, which is the Sonic Storm, and it's basically a large AoE that goes down. They have basically Energy Burn, which is basically a unit that uses energy like a Ghost or a Banshee or something like that. If it has an energy store, you can basically zap that energy store and it drains that energy, and it deals that much damage to the unit. And their third ability is called the Merger, which is basically where 2 High Templar basically merge into the anomalies. I can't remember their names now. But yeah, they merge into those big dudes over there. And they're kind of a siege unit that can attack both ground and air units. They're very effective at tanking. Now, the problem with that is they have 350 shield, I believe, and 10 life. So that's what makes them good and bad. It's the fact that shields will regenerate, but the Protoss don't really heal life. So it's one of those, they are a very big target for, basically, if you can bypass shields, which I don't know of a way you can do that, but still. It's like, they look big and menacing, but if you take away their shields, they're like, oh look, I sneezed. A probe can beat them up. I think a probe can beat them up. I haven't looked at the probe life. Anyways, this mission, basically you're going around and you're trying to deactivate these locks so you can get out of here. Basically, you want to try to do that before Kerrigan is completely wiped out. And if you're doing it for the achievement, you want to do it before, well, as soon as basically her third base is wiped out. You want to have all the locks stuff destroyed. Now, be aware that Kerrigan will send reinforcements every once in a while. They won't be big reinforcements. They'll be like roaches and zerglings. Not enough to basically do a full push. But what you should do is build your army until she sends her reinforcements, and then use them basically to help supplant your own. And follow them into each lock with your army. On this mission, I'd go with making basically predominantly the High Templar. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to make the High Templar, you're going to bring them into battle, use the Psionic Storm or their feedback loop, and as soon as they're out of energy, you're going to do the Merger. And then once you have them on their Merger, then you can use the big guys. And then basically this is going to be a mission of basically smash face, because you've got to use the big guys to do your tanking along with the Zerg reinforcements you'll be getting. Yeah, I'd suggest about 3, maybe 4 warp gates, and then go ahead and turn them into the warp gates. So this way you can have units warping in wherever you place down a pylon. And that is one thing I would suggest, is basically whenever you take one of these bases, drop a pylon. So this way your reinforcements will be that much closer to you. I wouldn't worry too much about the Stargate. You won't really be using it that much. Another thing to consider, the Templars are a very cheap but expensive unit because they cost 50 minerals and 100 Vespian. They are very squishy, so be aware of that. So you don't want them running ahead of all your other units. You want to have them towards the back, behind your big dudes, your zealots, and the Zerg. And what I'd do is, off the bat, I'd probably do the merging for about maybe 2 or 3 different big dudes, so this way you can have them tanking while you have your High Templar blasting away and using their Sonic Storm. And as long as you're halfway decent at macro, you should do better on this mission than I do, because I absolutely suck at macro. So I'm like, I barely use the Sonic Storms and stuff. And as you can see, I was having internet connections on this mission as well. But luckily I'd already popped the achievements in different missions for this mission. But I'll still go through and get all the different achievements for this mission. And then basically you can go ahead and move out once your anomalies start. Once your anomalies finish, your big dudes. Why can I never remember the names of what I'm supposed to be remembering? Like right there, that's a good spot to put a storm. And to my credit, I do use it somewhat, but I'm just not that great at it. Now, I don't think you can use feedback on the hybrid, but I'd try it just to try it. And also, always remember to destroy unit production buildings like barracks, starports, anything that can produce a unit. Make sure you destroy them because you don't want basically ambushes to go on. Now, as far as that factory, since it's covered by Zerglings, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd go ahead and push on to the next one. Well, wait for the Zerglings to push on to the next one. And as far as I know, there isn't an expanse in this mission, so that's what makes it really tough, because if there was an expanse, you could have a decent-sized army, but you're only working off of one base, so... And there's one of the solarite things. Yes, because things is the proper name. There we go. There's some more storms going down. Basically, use storms as often and as much as you can, because they're going to be... they're part of an achievement, so you have to at least kill 15 units with storms, so... you want to use them as much and as frequently as you can. And there we go, I'm dropping another pylon. Destroying the lock. Summoning some more High Templar. The one thing I would suggest about when you do your merging, make sure you are aware of which units are out of energy, and don't just select all your units and hit the merging, because it just basically grabs 2 High Templar and smashes them together regardless of how much energy they have. So I'd suggest like looking through your units and then grabbing the 2 lowest ones instead of just spamming the merge button. A hybrid attack. Oh yeah? Well, I got big dudes, because I can't remember their name. I know their slogan, power overwhelming. I know what they do. Can't remember their names to save my life. That's usually how I am. It's just like, yeah, I know that one unit. You know, the shiny one, the big glowy dude. You mean this dude? Yeah, that guy. Why didn't you say his name? God, I didn't know it. Also, be aware, don't try to go over and help Kerrigan with her battle, because there's a fog that comes in over there, and it's basically like a giant, basically damage over time fog, and it will kill your units really quick. So, and there's no way to stop it. So don't try to save some of Kerrigan's hatcheries by like slowing down the advances. It just won't work. And then there's the 3rd Solarite container. So that should be all the Solarite you need from this mission. Which, you don't really have to get that, but it's just one of those things, if you want it, you can get it. And there we go, we're assaulting the 3rd lock. And it looks like Kerrigan with the, not the Tarrasque, but the Plague Stream on her Ultralisks. So it's like, my choices have... It's funny how your choices have no effect at all on the way the game proceeds throughout each different chapter. Like, in Heart of the Swarm, or well, in Wings of Liberty, you have the option to side with Tosh or side with Nova. But in Heart of the Swarm, apparently you did both somehow. Because it goes in the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, Nova is the one that basically comes out and captures Raynor, and she tells him, "I'm glad it's me that found you, even though you're the one that helped me with my Tosh problem. I can't disobey my orders." So apparently you sided with her in that point. But literally later on in the Heart of the Swarm mission, when you're saving Jim, basically when you're assaulting the prison, I think it's Admiral Horner goes, "Oh, we have our special agent Tosh who's going to infiltrate and basically just, you know, go in there and save Jim." And I'm like, wait a minute. If you sided with Nova, Tosh is dead because she stuck a blade in the back of his head. And it's like, And then, as far as what I was talking about earlier with Kerrigan choosing her Plague Stream Ultralisks over the Tarrasque Stream, was basically at each unit you use in Heart of the Swarm, you can choose different upgrades to them. Such as, you know, they can do different things like the the Ultralisk had 2 different strains they could go with. It could go with the Tarrasque strain, which was basically, when it dies, it'll go into a cocoon for a short amount of time, and then it will reform into a new Tarrasque, or Ultralisk. Which is why they called it the Tarrasque, because basically, if you've ever played D&D, that's one of the most hardest creatures to kill. Because basically, if you do not have a wish or a miracle, the thing will revive in a couple of turns. So it's like, oh god, no. But if you go with the Plague Stream Trask, or Ultralisk, I keep calling it the Trask. If you go the Plague Stream, it has the ability to, basically, it has a constant AoE that goes off around it. So it's just one of those things I was like, well, apparently none of the choices you make in the early missions mean diddly, because they don't affect the story at all. Because apparently if it's something important, like the Tosh and Nova thing, you did both. And then if it's anything like the settler, the colonists, you don't hear about it again. Or if it's something as far as choosing a unit type, when Ivathur goes, you cannot, choice of both is not option, only one is available. So, basically, if you choose one, you don't get the other. Well, anyways, I've rambled on. This has been Harbinger of Doom, or Oblivion, and how to get the achievements. If y'all liked what y'all saw, give me a like, comment, and a share down below. If you didn't, give me a dislike and negative comment. I'm okay with both. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.